guys, just head on over to SuperTalk TV. Now, one of Mississippi's most recognizable landmarks, they have received a facelift amid some preservation and stabilization of the site. Joining us today, Keil. He's the Museum Division Deputy Director at Mississippi Department of Archives and History, to tell us a little bit more. That's a big title, Shane.
Yeah, yes, it is. Well, thank you, Rebecca, and good afternoon. Thanks for having me. So, we've certainly been busy out at Windsor Ruins, and Windsor is one of Mississippi's most iconic sites, and definitely one of the great sites that we have the privilege to oversee here at the Department of Archives and History. And our project there has really been nearly a decade in the making here, with its recent completion. And all the way back in 2016, our preservation staff, along with a number of specialty contractors and preservationists and conservators, undertook a project to really stabilize those columns for which the site is known. Of course, the Windsor, as it was known in its time, was one of the largest, if not the largest, antebellum homes in Mississippi. And it burned in 1890, and all that remained of the home, and that remains today, are those 23 of the 29 Corinthian columns. And of course, those columns are kind of what the site is known for. But the project was really to stabilize the masonry in those columns. Over 100 years of exposure to the weather and the climate here in Mississippi was certainly causing some issues, and we worked to really anchor and secure the brickwork and the masonry and infill and replace some of the missing elements, with the goal to not only stabilize but preserve and prevent any future water intrusion or erosion, and keep those columns looking the way they are for generations to come.
Didn't you also add in some educational components to it, Shane, where people do make it out to sort of visit it for the first time, or, I guess, again, that there's like a more interactive, and maybe interactive is not the right word, but educational component to it?
We did, and that was really how the project sort of wrapped up in this last year. So after the bulk of that stabilization work was done, we looked at some ways to really engage our visitors with more of the stories from the site. So we added some additional exhibit signage and story signage around the site, as well as a walking trail that will take visitors around the perimeter of the home. They can see and learn content not only about the history of the home, but also stories from the individuals who lived, worked, and were enslaved there. So,
Shane, has there ever been talk of rebuilding the Windsor, or would it just be too expensive, couldn't imagine, don't have the floor planned, all of that? I know it'd be a tall task, but was there ever talk of maybe rebuilding it next to it or on site or anything like that?
No, I don't think, not a conversation to that extent. I think what makes that site iconic is sort of its the fact that it has lived on in sort of that state that we refer to as a ruin. I think that gives it sort of its iconic and recognizable nature. And our goal was really to keep that image and to keep the historic nature of those columns and sort of the presence and the power of the place the site has currently, sort of keep that intact. So no conversations to my knowledge on sort of a rebuilding to that extent, but certainly a lot of conversations on keeping those columns the way they are and preventing further damage as we go forward.
I know lots of people have seen photos of it. There's a great one up at SuperTalk TV if they want to see it now, that you guys have up too, of the Windsor Ruins. But what's it like seeing it in person? Is it one of those things? I would feel like it's on my bucket list, Shane. I have to say I haven't ever seen them in person. I would love to do that. But is it completely different? Like, can't really describe it until you're there and like sort of see them and sort of on site to get why they are so special?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it, and I would encourage everyone listening to make a trip out there and see the site just southwest of Port Gibson. But it's definitely a site that is you don't understand the grandeur and the power of it until you're there in person. It's sort of as you're traveling down that road through the woods there outside Port Gibson, you come around the corner and you see those columns there kind of rising out of the ground and coming out of the tree line. really harkens back to a different time and really, presents a very powerful image of place, but definitely one that I think is best experienced in person.
I know it's obviously open to the public, Shane, but are there like visiting hours? Is it something that you can go just, on your way or through? About how long would it take someone if they wanted to add it to their road trip this summer, if they were planning to add the Windsor Ruins on their list of things to do?
Sure. So the site is open every day. There are no facilities there currently, so but the site is open from dawn to dusk. So but we encourage anyone, if you're on your way down 61 from Vicksburg to Natchez, or traveling across I-20, and you're able to make a detour there to the Port Gibson area, it is definitely worth the stop. And I would expect anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, and you could see the site and read the signage and make a trip around on the walking trail there.
I think it's good for folks to realize this took a decade to kind of think through and do correctly, Shane. You guys put a lot of effort and intentionality into getting it right. Was it cool to learn how maybe they were originally built and pay honor to that, and then how things have changed in terms of the way people build or masonry now? Like, was it a whole journey and process getting to that, matching it, if that makes sense?
Yes. So, and that's kind of some of the incredible detail work that went into this project was to do exactly that, and to look at the style and the methods of original construction, and work with these preservation staff and experts to make sure that the work we're doing matches that and is of that standard. And when you think about it, this is a home constructed beginning 1859 and completed right before the Civil War, so 1861, and it's been out. The columns are still standing. They've experienced all this weather and climate without the protective home around, and they've still the fact that so many have survived is really a tribute to the original detail and construction methods used. So, really a great and fascinating project to be involved in.
Are there any other preservation projects you guys are in the works on that you can share with us, or are those we'd have to find out later about those?
No, we've certainly got a lot of projects in the works here at Archives and History. I'd say that probably as far as a preservation project, we're currently working one of our sites. It's currently closed to the public, but we do hope to reopen in the future, and that is at Historic Jefferson College in Washington, Mississippi, just outside of Natchez, and really not too far there from Windsor Ruins and Port Gibson. And Historic Jefferson College is a really important site to Mississippi history. On site is where Mississippi became a state, changing from a territory to a state. The first institution of higher learning in Mississippi, and the first chartered institution in the state. So we have a number of buildings there that we're working on stabilizing and preserving. We hope to reopen that site as both a eventual visitor center and museum site with interpretation, and also a site that can serve as a field school for training and workforce training and preservation trades. So hopefully training future generations in some of those elements that went into the Windsor project.
Shane, you've got a long job title, but a really cool one.
Thank you very much.
I think it's really neat what you guys are doing, and there's so much work that goes into preserving things that Mississippians don't want nor need to see go away. So kudos to that. If people want more information on what y'all are doing, where can they go to stay update with you guys in the Archives and History?
Sure. So I think the best place for that is our website, and that's ndah.ms.gov, and you can get information on all our sites, our hours, and all our great and upcoming programs.
Well, I appreciate your time, Shane.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, there you go.